Welcome back, everyone, to Meister Gaming. Today, we're going to be taking a look at my EK Quantum Vector water block and backplate for my GPU, the RTX 3090, and that is the Zotac Trinity card. The box came, it was rattling really bad, so I went ahead and opened it up to take a peek. The little baggie of screws inside had come loose, and the screws were everywhere in this box. I cleaned those out. Here you have the water block. EK is known for their premium products. Here's your RGB header for the GPU block. And this thing, I mean, you feel this thing, and it weighs a ton. Thank goodness we're losing the weight of the majority of the card, because this thing is, I guess as the expression goes, beefy. You can see here on the inside all the contact points. It's going to be able to transfer that heat off of this GPU. It's going to be really, really nice. And I do believe that it is nickel plated, but it's copper based with a nickel plating. The backplate box doesn't, there's not really a whole lot going on here. It is, in fact, just a backplate. It's really nice looking, but I have my suspicions that this thing is going to show fingerprints like crazy. Here's our thermal pads. They do have like a protective film over each of the sides until you can get it installed on the backplate and the card. There's your baggie of screws that are in the baggie like they're supposed to be. And let's go ahead and open this thing up and take a look at it. Again, I just, I know this thing is going to just pick up fingerprints like crazy, but I will be vertically mounting the GPU in my case, so you're not going to really see the back of the card anyways. But it's a nice touch. You can see the machining here, all the thermal channels. I mean, that is really, really nice. Here is the kit that comes with the water block. These are the contents that had spilled out inside the box. As you can see here, that's why it was rattling like crazy. You've got some more thermal pads, and you've got your 1/4 plugs that to seal off what you're not using on the card. I generally choose between a couple of those tools I've got sitting there. I'm going to go with my iFixit kit. I absolutely love it. And we're going to go ahead and start tearing this thing down. We're going to go ahead and start removing the screws. And, it's just, you take your time, and it's literally, it's pretty much step by step. I know people are very leery of doing these kinds of things. These cards are very expensive. You do want to be careful. But it's pretty much a step-by-step, and if you're not sure what to do, you can always watch a YouTube video, for example. Perhaps a Meister Gaming video can help you. Here we've got it. We're getting ready to tear it apart, and it's like, oh no, and there it goes. The thermal paste makes it kind of tough to get apart at first. Be careful when you do take it apart. There are multiple, as in 3 cables that need to be unplugged. Here is everything dedicated to cooling the card on air with the triple fan setup on this card. Look at how massive that is. That accounts for, 95% of the thickness of the card. Here it is. There's the GPU covered in thermal compound. We'll get that all cleaned up. And, it's really, really nice looking. And we'll get the other thermal pads off of there that came with the card. We want to use what came supplied with the water block. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and start getting this thing apart and get this back plate off of here, and go ahead and get on to the next step. And again, you just want to take your time. There's no sense in rushing through these things. Here we go. We've got one more cable here to undo. There we go. Now the back plate is free, and we have the GPU all by itself. You can just see here, this thing is paper thin. I have actually one more bracket I have to take off of this, and it is just crazy. That's really what you're paying the big bucks for. Look how thin that is. We still need to take off on the left side there. We've got to take off the little cover for the PCI slots for the case. That comes off. Now we should be able to remove the bracket. And there we go. I've got it all cleaned up. We got the excess thermal paste off using a cleaning compound. And, you know, it needs to be clean before you get cracking with your new block. So that is it. We've got it torn down and pretty much it's ready to go. And, you know, the next step is going to be to get our MX4 compound out and put our thermal pads and our MX4 compound on this thing and get this thing put together. Again, you can see here the contact points, and you know, you want to make sure that all these are clean. And I do clean it in between, you know, cutting the video. I do wipe them down with my cleaning solution. I just simply am going to go the cheap route and just take a pair of scissors and cut it. I know, real fancy there. But I'm going to cut them, get these things installed, and I'll be back with you in just a second. There we go. You can see I've got all the pads on here. Now, I haven't removed that side of the film yet. You absolutely have to remember to do that before you connect this card together. Not doing so would it would not be good. That film would keep the heat from transferring properly, and I'm assuming it would melt and create a mess inside the card and possibly overheat the card. Could damage it very quickly, I would imagine. I've never done something like that to see what would happen, but let's not do that. So get all these things peeled off here. We've already got our MX4 thermal compound on the GPU, and now this step, definitely take care with this. You want to make sure it's lined up very well with all these screw holes before you drop it down and lay it on top of the GPU on that thermal compound. I put about a pea-size drop on that. That's always been my rule of thumb ever since I've been doing computer builds with GPUs and CPUs both. I know it was always the rule of thumb for CPUs for all these years, at least personally what I've used. I'm not necessarily certain it's the exact same for GPU, but you know, you don't want to put a ton on there, but you have to have enough. Or your GPU could overheat, could possibly damage the GPU. So anyways, here's the back plate, and just like I thought, you can see all those beautiful fingerprints and smudges all over it. We're getting this puppy installed on the back here, and here it is. Here is the card mounted to the Vector water block, and this EK thing is just, I mean, put together, it is so heavy, but it just feels premium through and through. I love the way that looks. See the channels where the water will go through, and then to the left of it and to the right of it, how you can see the circuitry. That just, I love that. So again, like I said before, we've got to put our other plugs in here. You do not want to forget to do this, or you're going to be shooting fluid all inside your PC case, which would be terrible. So it does come with a little tool, and it's made of plastic to gently put these things on and to not mar like the metal. So just give those tightened down. There they are, good to go. And so let's see here. I mean, look at this thing. This thing looks wonderful. And here it is in my case. Yes, there is an air bubble trapped in the upper right corner. I wanted to go ahead and get this video up. This is not permanent right now. The card has to come back out, and because, you know, I'm waiting on the 5950X to arrive if ever I can get one, and do a new motherboard, and then I will show off the completed build, show you the entire computer, and also provide benchmarks of the 3090 on that water cooler with the new motherboard that I have already reviewed on the channel, or well, previewed on the channel, I should say, along with that 5950X. And also 64 gig of DDR4 3600 RAM. So guys, thank you so much for watching these videos. It means a lot to me, and you guys are absolutely great. I appreciate all the likes all the support everyone continues to give me with doing this YouTube thing. I'm a good 3.5 months in now, and it has just been an absolute blast. I look forward to doing many, many more videos, and I hope you guys are enjoying the trip thus far. And until the next one, guys, Longmeister out. Peace.